How much time do you spend doing this? According to a survey, the average smartphone user scrolls the equivalent of 78 miles a year. That's 3 marathons. It may be good exercise for your finger, but there is evidence it may be hurting your brain.
Hi everyone, my name is Renata, and today I'm going to present my research on a super sad true love story by Gary Steingart. This novel imagines a future where technology basically swallows humanity, like it controls everything, how people love, speak, and even think. In this video, I'll explain how the book shows the dangers of surveillance capitalism, how human emotions become data, and how real love becomes almost impossible in a world driven by digital pressure. Throughout this presentation, I'll explore how the book, along with the articles by Dolezal, Wilmets, and Malowitz, reveals a digital dystopia that destroys intimacy, identity, and emotional depth. So this is how I'll break things down in this video. We're gonna talk about the novel's world and main ideas, Dolezal's argument about human life as data, Wilmey's idea of decentralized surveillance, Malowitz's argument on digital posthumanism, key scenes with Lenny and Eunice, the devastating consequences of this digital world, and lastly, what the novel teaches us today. This structure will help us see how all these voices connect to one general message. When everything becomes data, humans lose what makes them human. The dystopia presented in Super Sad True Love Story isn't just about phones or social media. It's about a society where technology replaces genuine human connection, and where people, like Lenny and Eunice, lose their emotional depth because their self-worth is measured by data instead of humanity. In this world, tools like the iPad and global teens dominate everything. As Dolezal said in his article, people become walking data sheets instead of real individuals. The world portrayed in the novel is fast, superficial, hyper-digital, and obsessed with perfection. The characters are constantly evaluated, ranked, and judged. People live through their apparatus, the social network global teens, and the belief that popularity equals value. It's not just a society that uses technology, it's a society controlled by it. Right away, the novel asks a big question. If your entire identity depends on numbers and ratings, can you still love? Can you still think for yourself? According to Luna Dolezal, in the article she published about human life as digitized data assemblage, health, wealth, and biopower, Gary Steingart's Super Sad True Love Story, she argues that the novel shows human life becoming a digitized data assemblage, where health, wealth, and desirability decide your worth. She writes that under this technobiological logic, the human body becomes nothing more than streams of information. This is scary because it just shows how society values more numbers than emotions. People's identities become public displays that can be ranked, compared, and judged. So what does this mean for identity? If identity becomes public and measurable, then privacy will disappear. People no longer exist for themselves, they exist for the audience. Dolezal, on her article, explains that this encourages a competitive society where everyone is ranked and compared, making human life feel like a contest. Imagine waking up and immediately checking your value score. That is basically Lenny's and Eunice's daily life. In the article published by Simon Wilmets, Digital Dystopia, Surveillance, Autonomy, and Social Justice in Gary Steingart's Super Sad True Love Story, he argues that the novel represents a world where people don't need a big brother, because they become their own big brother. He says surveillance is decentralized and participatory, meaning people willingly share every detail of their lives. This happens through social media, constant updates, forever tracking your mood, showing your health status, revealing your credit scores. People think they're gaining control, but really they're just losing it. Now, what is exactly the iPad? For me, the iPad is a symbol. It's more than just a phone. It is a symbol of self-surveillance, ego, insecurity, and society's obsession with ranking people. The iPad controls everything. It controls love, health, class, and even self-esteem. Wilmette argues in his article that the apparatus constantly collects and projects torrents of personal data. He says that it destroys privacy and creates a world where people live for validation instead of for meaning. Both scholars, Deleuze and Wilmets, make an emphasis on their articles about a system called surveillance capitalism, which is also discussed by Shoshana Zuboff in Real World Research. This means data is equal to money, your private life is equal to profit, and your emotions are a product. People voluntarily upload everything about themselves. They believe they're participating in society when they're actually participating in their own oppression. Wilmette also argues in his article that this makes people incapable of seeing injustice around them because they're just too focused on their own statistics. One scene that exposes this perfectly is when Lenny reads a book on a plane. People stare at him like he's doing something disgusting. Reading is no longer normal, it's actually offensive. He panics and pretends to love his apparat. Lenny said, I noticed that some of the first class people were staring at me down for having an open book. Duder, that thing smells like wet socks, said the young jock next to me. As the passengers returned to their flickering displays, I took out my apparat and began to thump it loudly with my fingers to show how much I love all things digital, while slicking nervous glances at the throbbing cavern around me. The wine-dulled business travelers lost to their own electronic lives. Steingart on page 37. This just shows how society trains people to perform digital identity instead of being themselves. There's also this really powerful scene when Eunice admits she can't understand people anymore. Eunice said, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing half the time anyway, but I'm so glad that we can confide in each other, because the world sometimes feels so like I can't even describe it. It's like I'm floating around, and the moment anyone gets near me or I get near anyone, there is just this static. Sometimes people verbalize to me, and I just look at their mouth, and it's like, what? What are you saying to me? How am I supposed to even verbalize back? And does it even matter what's come out? Eunice said in page 46. The scholar Dolezal connects Eunice's lack of emotion to what she refers in her article, the drive towards quantitative analysis of non-quantitative desire. It reconstitutes the human capacities for well-being, love, and flourishing through their ability to be redescribed and mediated through digital data. This means that in Steinwart's world, people's emotions such as love, sadness, empathy, or stress turn into measurable data points that they just upload to their profiles. In the dystopian world presented, it is sad to see how people's emotions lost completely their complexity and depth, and it just became numbers that can be ranked and used statistically. The scholar Malowitz argues in his article that digital networks clean up the messy, irregular patterns of human desire. This means that real emotions messy, unpredictable, and complicated. The digital world hates that. It replaces messy feelings with neat and clean emotional scores. For example, instead of feeling sad, your apparat tells you mood status 24%. So this makes humanity mechanical. The scholar Malewitz also states on his article that Eunice, by contrast, is hairless, scentless, and angular posthuman, and thus can exist as easily on an apparat screen as on the street. But for Lenny, her beauty originates from a nano-sized, immortal, digitalized realm that, Steingart's novel suggests, generates this fascination. Eunice represents a new type of beauty shaped by technology, perfect, digital, and emotionless. This reflects society's obsession with youth, smoothness, and purity. Meanwhile, Lenny's love for books makes him look dirty, old, and weird. This relationship becomes a battle between human depth and digital perfection. Here I use a real advertisement of the brand Dove that shows the real consequences of living in a digital world. Lenny's relationship with technology gets conflicted as the story continues, revealing how people's curiosity and critical thought have been replaced with actual dependence on the digital world and media. He literally admits, I'm learning to worship my new apparat screen, the colorful pulsating mosaic of it, the fact that it knows every last stinking detail about the world, whereas my books only know the minds of their authors. This shows how people prefer fast information over wisdom, because Books require thinking, but screens require nothing. This is how society loses curiosity and depth. Later, Lenny has a moment where he finally questions the creative economy and realizes that technology can't feed people or fix society. This isn't some stupid upward app. This is eternity. This is the heart of the creative economy. Fuck the creative economy, I said, without thinking. There is no food downtown. This is the first time that Lenin rejects the system, but sadly, it's too late. His whole identity has already been shaped by screens. The ending is one of the most powerful parts of the novel. Lenny realizes he will be nullified and that his identity will survive only as digital leftovers drifting through global teens. Nothing of my personality will remain. The light switch will be turned off. My life, my entirety, will be lost forever. I will be nullified, and I will be left, floating through the ether, tickling the empty bell of space, alighting over farms outside Cape Town, and crashing into an aurora about Hammerseth, Norway, the northernmost city of this shattered planet. My date, the sole base of my existence, uptexted to a global Teams account. Words, words, words. The repetition of words, words, words show how empty language has become in a world where screens control meaning. Lenny loses his humanity, and the world doesn't even notice. The scholar Wilmette explains that this world forces people to obsess over data, destroying their ability to question injustice. Because of course, if you're too busy improving your digital score, you don't have time to notice the world collapsing around you. This is why Lenny becomes blind to inequality, suffering, and corruption. Because his desire to rank higher kills his capacity for empathy. Even the novel Super Sad True Love Story is fiction, the warning is real. Because we already track our health, update our lives online, try to get likes, compare ourselves to others, let screens influence our self-worth. The novel exaggerates this, but the logic is the same. When validations come from screens, we lose something human. To conclude, A Super Sad True Love Story shows a world where love, identity, and human meaning are replaced by digital perfection. Scholars, Dolezal, Wilmets, and Malewitz all argue in their articles that the dystopia reveals a dangerous truth. If society keeps valuing data over humanity and visibility over authenticity, then we are in risk of becoming like Lenny, alive but completely empty inside. Thank you for watching, and I hope this presentation actually helped us reflect on the role technology plays in our own lives.